Hello, and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. Today we review Sting's 1987 album, Nothing Like the Sun. It's his second album, and it's pretty alright, although I do think his later albums are generally better. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist. 8 out of 12, 75%. This album's good, but a lot of the songs sound very similar. The whole album's pretty slow. Even the more upbeat songs are really kind of on the slow side, unfortunately. Sting does write a good slow song, even here, but it's difficult for me to really love this album when pretty much every song is like that. Like the first 6 tracks are just all slow songs. You don't get any sort of upbeat stuff until side 3, and then side 4 goes back to slow. So it's alright. The slow songs are all pretty good, so ultimately the album's kind of alright, but it's difficult for me to really enjoy it to its fullest extent when it's like that. There were no singles released before the album, but Will Be Together and Be Still My Beating Heart were both on the radio around the time, late 80s. My favorite song here, I probably got to go with Straight to My Heart. It's one of the more upbeat songs. Side 3 as a whole is probably the most upbeat side. But Straight to My Heart is one of the more upbeat songs on the album. It reminds me a lot of sort of a slowed down version of Synchronicity 1 off of Synchronicity by The Police, which I really do like that song. And I think Straight to My Heart is a pretty good one. He still has good songs on this, despite the fact that the album as a whole is kind of not great. As you may expect, I rank this album towards the bottom of Sting's albums, mostly because he gets a lot better later, and he gets a lot more variety in his later albums. The first 2 albums, this one and The Dream of the Blue Turtles, are both alright, but they're not spectacular unless you really like slow pop ballads, which is pretty much all he does. He has a little bit of interesting stuff, but even some of his more not as great later albums they're just got way more interesting stuff than these first 2, in my opinion. So I'll never really love these, but they're still pretty decent. So if you like them, more power to you. But unsurprisingly, this album doesn't take my top spot from 1987. That goes to INXS's Kick, which is an almost perfect album that I really love. Really the opposite of this album in pretty much every way. It's really upbeat, really go get 'em. So I really like that one, and I definitely like it more than Nothing Like the Sun. Next up, I'm going to review all of Guns N' Roses' albums. Their first album is Appetite of Destruction, released in 1987, and I think, from what I've seen, it may have some decent songs on it. So I'm relatively interested to review it and see how good these guys really are. So stay minty and stay tuned for that.